Hello, everyone. I got the wrong thing up, of course, because it changed this week.
What changed?
The Discord thing. I get to do some of this right on that's the wrong button. Alt. Well, welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the second episode of Gaming Public Radio. That's the words. I can talk. I am awake. I apologize to everyone. My name is Jacob Wagner. I have just come back from a random quick trip to Chicago, so I'm very out of it. But that being said, let's just get right on into it. We are just a group of guys who are wanting to be a resource for gaming, having some fun with all those things from news to impressions to reviews to just learning more about games and everything we do. Got both Luke and Ricky with me tonight. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. Yeah.
Doing okay.
Awesome.
Kind of a long week, but doing okay.
Excellent. Well, how's life been? Anybody wanna? I'll just go. Ricky, why don't you hit it up? Let us know how things have been doing. What type of games you're doing? If you're up for doing anything currently.
Yeah. Well, basically, my week has just looked like what I've been gaming on a weekly basis. So Destiny 2, I'm still playing on a weekly basis. Just doing. I'm just doing the basics of each weekly story so far. Not a whole lot of grinding. I still need to get to the seasonal rank 100 though to get all the goodies, all the loot. But last week I said that I had wished I played more of ESO. Last year now. So this week it's funny. I had a dream about playing ESO. So
you had a dream.
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of ESO this week, mostly as the new class, the Arcanist that you can play as. So I've been messing around with that. Mostly, just finally, my brother helped me a lot with getting certain gear sets that work really well with that class. So now I'm back into just going through order I want to go through. And I also earlier this week I had just finished Stray.
Nice.
Short game. I was kind of surprised that it ended. Seemed like it ended kind of suddenly. But it's maybe 6-hour game would be my guess. I haven't looked at stats on my Xbox how long I played it, but short. But it's pleasantly short. It's not disappointingly short like some games have been. I liked it. Good. It's cute.
Oh yeah, it's cats.
Yeah, you get to be a cat. Like
you
that.
Aristocats. Your little robot friend too.
Oh yeah, your robot friend. Yeah. So that's been my week.
Awesome.
Getting to those games. Not a whole lot going on right now.
Luke, how about you?
Pretty good. I changed my my broadcasting room, so that was kind of a big rush to do today. Because last week, I'm pretty sure you heard my kids in the background. So hopefully today they're out of the background.
No.
Yeah, I told them to shut up for an hour. Guys hanging out with some friends tonight, so it's just do your stuff and leave me alone. But no, as far as gaming goes, there at New Year's, I tried to beat 12 games for or yeah 12 games a year, and right before New Year, I finished Gears of War 3, and
Okay.
so then 2 nights ago I started Gears of War 4. So I'm trying to play through the entire Gears saga. One
Mm.
of the fun things about being pretty much a exclusive PlayStation person is you miss all the cool Xbox games. So I'm able to go back and play those now. So I'm working through my way through the Gears. Hopefully next I'll do Halo, the Halo series. So just kind
Yeah.
of enjoying myself that way. Yeah,
Good.
been my week gaming.
Yeah.
You guys have gamed a
Nice.
lot more than I have. I got a couple hours, a little bit in on playing some Octopath Traveler 2 and I finished up the main story on the Pokemon DLC for the Indigo disc. Um,
Mm.
Now there's just the post game, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. I'll just wait for. I think it's the 11th when there is a surprise free kind of epilogue for the stories. So that should be fun.
Yeah, see, that's the other game I need to get back into is Pokemon Scarlet. Um,
To
and
play
so
the second DLC, you need to play the first one through its entirety.
yeah, so not just the vanilla game too, I guess, but also the first DLC and then the second. So many other games that I'm playing that just require a lot of your time, you know?
Yeah, especially if you play an MMO.
Yes, like ESO and Destiny, right?
Playing two of them, you are a braver man than I am. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I call it bravery.
Oh, so one of the things that we want to do here at Gaming Public Radio is to kind of just have resources, have a lot of other kind of video content going out there. Any of you guys have any specific videos or things that you want to share that you're kind of working on that should be coming out hopefully in the next few weeks?
I go for it, Rick, if you do.
Huh?
You can go first if you want to.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I have some articles that are just ready to go. They've already been written. Just we need to go through them, editing and revising.
Hmm.
But yeah, I have some articles
Awesome.
ready to go. They are faith based though.
Okay.
Um, so yeah.
Yeah, we'll have different types of content, including some more theological type of things, because I mean we are all pastors, but so that's kind of our our main
Mm.
bread and butter. But
Yeah.
that will definitely be an aspect of what we're doing. But
Mhm.
that's not going to be the entirety of it. This is not a mission. It is so that is going to be some of the stuff. This is just going to be fun for gaming stuff, and sometimes finding different theology things in gaming is fun.
This is mostly we have fun doing this, but also just being family focused, generally
Absolutely.
speaking, helping
Yeah.
families raise gamers and so forth. Um, Talking through uh, not just difficulties or challenges, but also fun stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Luke, what are you working on?
Yeah, I'm working on a few things. So if you guys don't know, I had a stroke, so I'm disabled. So one of the things I kind of want to focus on with Game Public Radio is accessibility and accessibility issues. And so something I'm working on is a review for the PlayStation Access controller. That's a pretty neat little thing, and hopefully I can have that review to you guys next week or so.
Yeah.
And then I'm also a big Yakuza fan, so I'm working on an article where I compare family structures that we have at home versus a family structure of things we don't choose, like the Yakuza.
Hmm.
Hopefully that'll be a neat article once I'm done with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet you're looking forward to Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth.
Oh, definitely, especially that little island, the island game they've come along with it.
Oh yeah,
So I'm excited for that.
awesome. And then the main thing that I'm hoping to get out tomorrow or the next day um, is a video talking about it's often been seen as kind of a contest of either getting physical or digital games, um, but making it more of like, hey, sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes it's like, what do I want to have? What are we going to do? So that's going to be a fun look through that we're going to be doing. But speaking of physical or digital things, our first news segment for this week is kind of a sad thing that I heard about in the last few months of 2023. But Best Buy is removing all physical media from their stores and displays. So their movies, their games, they're just going straight the big money making things.
Wow.
What do you guys think about that?
Uh,
Well,
Go ahead, Luke.
I for one am sad. I remember going to Best Buy in St. Louis when I was a kid, going to Best Buy and just like looking through the CDs and DVDs for hours
Yeah.
until I found a band I hadn't heard of, and now this breaks my heart. I'm still the guy that'll go on Amazon and buy a CD. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm wholeheartedly a physical media person. Um,
There is
Oh,
something that is just there about seeing things as you're walking through.
yeah. I think his mic dropped out somehow.
Oh, and
Yeah,
your mic is messed up again.
yeah. Um,
We'll let you know when we hear you again.
yeah. So I'll just while he's trying to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I have mixed feelings. One, I kind of don't care because I never go to Best Buy. I'm not even sure where the nearest Best Buy is near me, to be honest. Um,
Hmm.
but on the other hand, also like Luke, a little saddened by it because is this a precursor to other mortar stores getting rid of their physical media?
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you kind of like Jacob, you kind of brought it up last week. You just mentioned it that you're very much you actually like to own what you buy, so you buy the physical things.
You see my
Yeah.
stack of games right
Um,
there because it doesn't fit on the shelf because I can't put it farther over. Otherwise, my kids will get at it and
yeah.
destroy them.
Which, I definitely agree with, even though most of the things I have are digital, because only because it's more convenient.
And
I
that is
haven't
the other
really
thing. Like,
I haven't thought about it ethically, and just like, times when, a place might like you can no longer access the digital that you bought anymore,
yeah,
which
that's
I don't.
a scary thing. Um,
Yeah, like movies, especially games.
there
Like,
was that scare just a couple weeks ago that Sony and Discovery had not made a deal, and so people were going to be losing seasons of shows that they had
yeah,
bought on the PlayStation Network. Um,
yeah,
but then they reached a deal before it was gonna everybody was gonna lose their content. But I think that kind
yeah,
of woke up the industry a little bit, and it's like, wait a minute, this is
yeah,
something a little bit more that we have kind of take a look at.
Am I back
Yeah.
on now?
Yes, there
Oh,
you
yeah,
are.
there you are.
Welcome back.
All right. I was just off the microphone for a little bit tonight, so let's do it like this
Okay,
Cool.
until I figure out my technical difficulties.
no problems.
The other thing too for me is choosing to buy a physical or digital copy is like on the Switch, you buy a physical copy and it doesn't use up as much space as it would if you just bought it digitally, right?
Mhm. Well,
Whereas on Xbox, I don't think that's the case.
no, for
Because you still have to
both
install the whole.
Xbox and before both Xbox and PlayStation, you're basically installing from the disc, and the disc is being used as the key. So
Right.
for
So,
2/3 of the consoles, and if we include PC into it, only 1/4 of actual gaming mediums actually have physical media being important. And who knows what like Best Buy sales data was like? Oh, they're going to be having all sorts um of the numbers that they have to say like, okay, what are these things worth it to have in the store, or are they not?
right.
Is it going to?
Before I was a pastor, I used to work in retail
Uh-huh.
as a Walmart manager, and so that's definitely something to think about is the footprint those items have. Like at Walmart, when you walk in, what do you see? First thing usually just racks and racks of clothes, right?
Mm-hmm. In the background, you see
Usually,
those TVs.
yeah, in the very very far back of the store though. When you first walk in, you usually see a bunch of clothes,
Yeah.
and the clothing sales at Walmart equal like 5% of the total store sales. So when you see things like CDs and DVDs and video games,
Mm-hmm.
I bet the attachment rate is pretty low on those things. So I mean, it makes sense money wise to get rid of them, but for old farts like me who love that stuff, it's heartbreaking.
I'm my heart is with you, Luke. Like that's I personally love getting the physical media more than the digital. Now,
We grew up with.
well, yeah, and it's
We are the generation of blowing on cartridges to fix it when it actually doesn't do anything. Exactly.
get in there, get fixed.
Right.
Even though
And
that,
we're talking about the physical media aspect of it, and I saw something on Twitter the other day where Remedy was complaining because sales of Alan Wake 2 were low. It's like, well, they only offered it in digital format. So I think if they had maybe offered a physical version, the sales would have perhaps been more in line with what they were projecting. But I don't know.
well, that's just
But we,
more areas of advertisement, having
yeah,
a face of what your product will be. People can walk through the stores. You'll have it in their weekly um, pamphlets. You have it so many other places. You probably put more commercials and everything out because hey, you have the physical media that you see. That it included the displays of the physical media at Best Buy. So like you won't even see really much anything gaming except probably like the consoles themselves. Oh yeah, here, go buy a console. Now you can't even. I mean, I wonder if they're gonna have like the little cards for the digital downloads with them, because those don't take up much space.
Right.
Because why would you buy a console and not buy a game? And to have both of those together, that doesn't really make sense to me. But they're now
Yeah.
going to be making consoles if the leaks and the rumors are true, that Xbox is almost going like no physical discs anyway.
Right.
isn't there?
That's probably the
Didn't they?
point of the series.
Sorry, didn't
No,
they
go ahead.
advertise like the new Series X is new Series X is without a disk drive?
They didn't
It's
advertise
a
it.
cylinder.
That was a leak from the court cases for
Okay,
Xbox.
okay.
That was one of the attachments that just blew, like, had hundreds and thousands of pages of classified information that just got out there, which was not good.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's there. So like, that's what Xbox is, and I mean, they're going for Game Pass. Of course, they're wanting to do that. You can't do physical with Game Pass.
Yeah.
I just hope that like Walmart and Target and all the other big chains don't follow the suit. I've noticed that like Best Buy Online still has the physical. Like I have Final Fantasy Rebirth pre-ordered through there, so they're still selling physical media. It's just not in stores.
It makes me kind of worried for businesses like GameStop. GameStop now sell a lot more than just games now. They sell a lot of
Well, they've
merchandise.
had to because of many
Yeah,
of the stupid decisions that some of the leadership has made, but also I feel like
yeah,
GameStop had really started going downhill when they stopped buying like and reselling like all sorts of games. Like they kind of do that, but
Mhm.
it doesn't really matter with the disc ones as much. When you had the physical cartridges of all of Nintendo stuff, all of the old PlayStation games, all of the old Xbox games, where again we went back to the games were playing off of the discs, off of the cartridges,
Yeah,
where you would walk into the store and like, okay, here's just entire displays of games. It's like, all right, I'm gonna look through them all and go. And I think that was one of the first dominoes that fell, because a lot of the times I've gone into the stores, you can't see the used things anymore.
yeah. I noticed that too. I was just there over the weekend. I was like, "Oh, check out our used DS games." I'm like, "Where the heck are they?" And they're like right next to at the end of the register. You had to like turn and basically be on your way into the register area,
Yeah.
and there wasn't a whole lot to begin with.
So we'll have to
Um,
see how that's going to be going into the future.
yeah, if GameStop doesn't go completely out of business, I can see it maybe becoming store for retro gaming plus merchandise.
If all of the new startup shops aren't gonna
Yeah,
get there first, because I see so many of those stores in a lot of the towns I go to, and it's like, oh yeah, these.
maybe even branching out to tabletop gaming.
It's a possibility. That is a
It
growing
could be
market.
funny. I mean, yeah, definitely.
A growing market. I've play tested a whole bunch of board games.
Mm,
Some with NDAs that I had to sign. It was like, oh okay, that's fun.
nice.
But we got to keep going because there's a lot of other
Yep,
things that we're
yep.
gonna covering. An amusing thing that I saw today. Most of my news that I got this week, I got today because I've been on the road. So I had to go back through the week and like, okay, what happened? The series, like, you know how the Series X had their mini fridge that you could get because there was the joke. Oh yeah, hey, it's like a fridge.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Well, they made a Series S toaster, and you can buy it from Walmart for $40.
All right,
This
I gotta
thing,
click on
this thing,
The funny
looking
thing
at
is,
it,
the funny thing I think is it's one slice. It's not even a two-slice toaster. It's like one slice of bread,
Oh, you are not. Oh, like an actual
two,
toaster.
like an
yes,
actual toaster. Yeah.
it has the
I thought it was a euphemism. I thought you were just
no.
being funny.
No, it's an actual toaster. It imprints the Xbox logo onto the toast.
That's amazing.
It
I kind of
has
want it.
an LED digital countdown, 6
Yeah,
toast browning levels, 4 different functions. I mean, it's a toaster.
I gotta look up
All
the
the rest of
mini
the toaster
fridge.
thing is you can
There
supposedly
is a
put
mini
2
fridge.
slices. It's a long sucker.
Oh, I just looked up the mini fridge one. This is awesome.
Yeah, you can find those there for either 50 or 100, depending on when you go looking.
My wife got me my wife got me a fridge a couple years ago, so I do have one of those. But I'm not sure I'm sold on the single slice toaster.
I'm glad that Microsoft is going with the memes of their systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I would get it, but it'd be a waste of money. We have a toaster, we don't even use it.
No, that's why you get a
Oh my
toaster
God.
oven, because then it's not just for bread. You can, use it as a little mini oven too.
I wonder the pictures. I wonder if it actually puts the Xbox logo on.
That's what it says it does. That is part of, like, it imprints the Xbox logo onto the toast.
That's pretty amazing.
That's ridiculous. Just a couple rumors that have went out through the week. A blog post from Disney Parks. And we want to make sure that, hey, these are rumors, so these could be true, could not be true. Take that as you will, and we'll go from there. Star Wars Outlaws will be releasing late in 2024. That's that new Star Wars smuggler game that had that female lead. I think it was Summer Games Fest, or it was Gamescom last year, that had a 5-10 minute video segment of gameplay going through, where she had a deal that went bad and then escaped and got off planet. So the game looks fun. I mean, it's a Star Wars game. They're either really fun or they suck.
That's true. There's literally no in between.
There is no in between.
Exactly right.
I think if I recall, it's made by Massive, or being developed by Massive, which is the same team that works on the Division. So if it has the Division DNA, it should be pretty awesome, I think.
I would hope so. Yes, it's being made by Massive and Ubisoft. Another rumor. This is reading more into something that may or may not have been there. Miyamoto and Shigesato Itoi, who is the creator of the Mother Earthbound series, they've been meeting together and doing a series of videos together, talking just about gaming development, all of the kind of the backdoor stuff. But they were also talking about, this is the 30th anniversary of Earthbound, of Mother 2, and how they are going to have merch. They're going to have just little celebrations throughout the year. But there's also going to be things that they can't announce right now.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Does that mean Mother 3 will be coming to the US? Does that mean we're going to get a Mother 4? Does that mean Earthbound is getting a remake, remaster? A claymation game on the Switch? So many different possibilities that this could be. Who knows? They have a full, like, logo of, like, 30th anniversary, and having all sorts of Mr. Saturns around it and fun things. Did you guys ever play Earthbound?
Nope.
That's a gaming hole for me as well.
It is also a very difficult hole to fill, because unless you got the SNES Classic, or were able to get it on the Wii Virtual Console, not the Wii U. I think it was only on the Wii Virtual Console, and it was more expensive than all the rest of the games. It was $10, where most of the other ones were $7. you can't play Earthbound. It's just not there. But I mean, like, they just remade Mario RPG, one of the best RPGs on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Things have happened. They are much more open for bringing games back. They're bringing Thousand Year Door. Like, RPGs are getting a lot of remakes. So
They remastered Metroid Prime.
yeah,
I'm
and they
I'm still
shadow
waiting
dropped that.
on I'm still waiting on Bomberman 64. That game, I don't know if you guys
Yes.
played it, but so
Yes.
much fun.
I
Only
actually,
Bomberman game, so much fun.
I actually liked the second game for the 64, the Second Attack. It came out at the very end of the 64's life cycle. Not very many people bought it. It was a they didn't print as many copies. It was just the GameCube was coming out, so people really didn't care about the 64 at that time. But I found it to be a lot more fun. But that's actually my favorite one though. Um, it was a is it a GameCube game? I have it. Yes, it's over there. It's a GameCube game called Bomberman Jetters.
Jetters.
There it is. There were two Bomberman games that came out. The first one was Bomberman Generations. Um, that one was more of your just like classic. No, or was that the? No, never mind. It was Generation that I like better because you had these little critters that you would go and find, and you would be part of your team, and they were the ones who were kind of giving you extra upgrades outside of the upgrades you would find in the middle of the levels. So that was fun. And then Jetters introduced some like rideable monsters. So those were both fun. Dude, this is why you physical media, you can just get up and show it.
Right. I used to have a bunch of physical copies, but just misplaced so many of them.
Oh yeah,
A lot of moving. But kind of like after I enlisted in the army, I just lost track of a lot of things.
makes sense. You're
And then I
moving
started
around,
buying
it just stuff goes away.
Yep. What's next?
Kind of getting into a little bit of some of our main topic for today. Another rumor that a consultant in Japan was talking about that the Switch successor is predicted to be around $400, and it's not going to be a new iteration on something. They're just kind of upgrading what is there. And that's just kind of like a duh. $400? Yeah, the Switch OLED is $350. Unless they're going to bump the Switch OLED down to $300. Put this new one at $350. And then just bump everything else down like $50.
Yeah, 400 seems reasonable to me. I mean,
in this market, in this year, in the year of our Lord 2024, things cost
especially
money.
as an Xbox gamer, then new consoles usually upwards toward 100, or not 100, 800. Yeah.
I mean, like the PS5, you get a PS5 if you want the VR stuff. That's another like 500. If you want the PlayStation Portable, that's 200. So if you want just like the main three things out of Sony, that's $1,200.
Jeez.
So $400 for the Switch successor, whatever that might be. I mean,
Right.
that makes sense. I think
And how much just how much space games take up these days. Like
Mhm.
I got 1 terabyte Xbox Series X,
You could
and
still only fit like 2 games on it.
yeah, there's like only like literally a handful of games I could put on internal storage that require internal storage in order to play the game,
Yeah.
which is extremely frustrating. Um, so I'm constantly having to like uninstall and a game I
Reinstall.
haven't played in a while in order to install a new one.
But you always want to keep like your multiplayer like Halo on there because you never know. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
we'll talk more about the Switch successor later because
yeah.
we can we
But I before we move on with that,
yeah.
what I do want to know before I would get the new Switch is if so Pokemon Scarlet frame rate on the Switch sucks.
Yeah.
That's like my biggest critique about it. I didn't go I didn't wasn't there for I wasn't around for all those glitches that people put online, but
Hmm.
the frame rate is just terrible.
Yeah.
And so hopefully the new Switch will solve that problem. If it doesn't, I probably
Well, yeah. Hopefully it's
every
backwards
other game is
compatible.
fine. It's like I think that what the game requires is just too much for the current console.
Yep.
Uh,
So
so
Tears of the Kingdom is
yeah,
knocking on that door.
yeah, frame rate's not too good.
No, frame rate's fairly well throughout, unless like one ability really kind of makes it chug. But for everything else, you can go from the highest part to the lowest depth.
Mm.
You're not dropping frame rate.
Mm. Yeah,
So
it's not like that. Pokemon is
Game Freak could have some help from the team that makes Xenoblade.
yeah, and that's the thing when they um was it Pokemon Legends Arceus?
I loved that game.
That game was awesome. Like and that was the precursor to Scarlet and Violet.
Hmm.
And so that comes out, and we're basically expecting Legends Arceus, but
Everything.
maybe a little better. But it's just it fell short. So
Yeah.
they can do it. They just I don't know if it, Nintendo the developers for Nintendo they don't have a habit of releasing things too early. But I think that might
Game Pokemon
what
and
might
Game
happen.
Freak are the exception to that because things have to
Yeah.
be out. There has to be something new out every year. They are the exception to that rule. But we can go into,
Which
or we're
is
going to get into a little bit more of the Switch successor later, because I want to get a little bit more like, hey, what is it going to do? Um,
mm,
but our main topic for today is last week we looked back at 2023, the all the cool things that came out. One of the things we didn't talk about was a lot of the horrible stuff that happened in the industry with the layoffs by the scores and how just rotten and horrible that all was. And hopefully 2024 doesn't repeat that, because then they're going to be like a skeleton of what it was as an industry. But 2024 has, I mean, we have a list of 15 games here that have release dates in the first 3 months and
mm,
um, DLCs and expansions further out. We're just gonna like first one up next in 10 days from recording. Prince of
mm.
Persia: The Lost Crown coming to all the systems. Um, Luke, you were there was a video about that today.
Yeah. So as I said previously, I'm an advocate for accessibility with video games. And today, Ubisoft released like a 5 or 6 minute video talking about the accessibility features that are going to be available at in this Prince of Persia game at launch. A couple of the ones I want to touch upon was that this is a platformer. If you've played the older games, you know what I mean. But sometimes these games are as hard as nails. Trying to go from platform to platform,
Well, this one is
get
a
through this
completely
amount.
different kind. Like all the rest of them were more like 3D platformers.
Yeah,
This is a Metroidvania.
yeah, more like Metroidvania. And so like one of the things they have is guided platforming, where you have where you turn this feature on. It helps you figure out like access points for certain puzzles or how to get through certain areas. One thing after my stroke, I have issues with memory. So one of the things that they have is you're able to take a screenshot of where you are on the map, and then place that screenshot in your HUD map. So you're able to access how to get back to certain points, going through the level to get to the new areas you're supposed to get to.
Holy crap,
So
that's awesome.
there's some really cool accessibility features coming out for this game. And the main thing I wanted to share about this was there's also a demo coming out. I believe on the 14th, I believe, or no, on the 12th. So
Okay.
you have a couple days to play this for a demo to try out the accessibility stuff, try out the game if you like it or not. And the best thing about this, it's not a full price game. It's a more budget friendly price of I think $50
Yeah.
for all systems. So I'm excited for this one now. They have all these features coming out for it.
And that'll definitely probably be on sale for like on Steam probably by the end of the year easily.
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
It'll be a good budget game for next Christmas if somebody's looking on Black Friday deals or something. That's awesome. Holy crap. Um,
So yeah, if you have 5 minutes, look up the Ubisoft video on this and see the different features I didn't even talk about.
absolutely.
It's very informative, and again, if you like accessibility issues and problems for disabled people, this is a thing to check out. So I'm sold on the game. I think.
Yeah, that definitely ups it for me for the desire for supporting stuff like that. All right. 5 days after that, on the 19th of January, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is coming out. The remaster that really didn't need to happen because the game's only like 4 years old.
A remaster for a 4-year-old game.
When did the first one come? Like,
Why?
let me just.
I know why, because money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to. When did the first one come out? It's 4 years to the date. Well, 4 years and a few months. June 19th, 2020 was when the first one came out.
It wasn't that long ago.
We're talking January 19th, 2024.
Yeah.
Well, think about it this way though. Like Ricky's right. It's all about money
Oh,
because they canceled they canceled factions. So they lost their multiplayer bit.
yeah.
They just released Last of Us Part One last or 2 September's ago, and now they're just trying to cash in on the TV show plus
Yep.
this remaster. So it's all about money for these guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same reason for Skyrim, right?
Talking about
Yeah, exactly.
talking about money, I saw a post and I have a good chance of believing it. That was comparing Sony and Nintendo with just their first party games. The selling rate of the games and how like Nintendo's are all their top 5 are all double what like the top one of PlayStation's was. And it's just like, okay, so if you make one game that costs hundreds of millions of dollars to make, or you can make 5 games that still cost a fraction of that. Supposedly they're making the money not on the consoles but on the software. I want to see how they're doing that, because the costs of these games are increasing exponentially.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was Sean Layden or Jack Trinton a few years ago talking about the budgets of PlayStation games and how inflated they have become. Now it's not sustainable anymore for them to do that. And then you see people, anecdotally speaking, of course, people speak on Twitter about how they need to have smaller studios to release mid. So like right now they just released Spider-Man 2 a couple months ago. So the thought process is now to release a game a few months after, and then release their next big game in a few more years. So to have interspersal games is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
With smaller studios, and but the thing is, they had the smaller studios. They had Studio Japan, and they had Pixel Opus. And they closed both of those because they weren't selling and making money for them. So
Yeah.
I don't understand that logic of closing the smaller studios if they're going to reopen other smaller studios. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I yeah, the costs of making everything, it is absolutely insane and then to close all of these, to buy up all these things and then close them or knock their staff down to nothing. Oh, like with I think Bungie is like one of the best examples for that. It's like, oh, this wasn't because of our deal with Sony. Maybe yes, maybe no. Somebody up the chain was unhappy with the amount of money being used in creation of it and not the amount that they were getting. So
Yeah.
it is not the appropriate thing for those who are in power and authority to care for those who are under them.
Yeah. We could talk about that theologically, but I don't know if you want to go.
No. We're already
What
at
is
it.
the
We are like at
authority?
50 minutes on this thing, so I want to keep going
Yeah.
because we are so far behind.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah. No, basic, yeah. People should care for people. I think that's the best way to sum it up.
Yeah. Authority is supposed to be in service to your subordinates, not in service to yourself.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's the gist of it. Moving on. What's next?
One
What's
on
coming up?
the 26th, and these are just like the big name games that are coming in these times. There are like 20 other games coming in January that were on the different pages that I looked up. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. The new Yakuza. They got rid of the Yakuza name and they're going with the Like a Dragon. It happened with 8. Was that right, Luke?
Yeah, that happened with 8.
Yep. It was like Yakuza 8 Like a Dragon.
Yep.
And then because I think they're also changing like the main character, right?
Yeah, the Kiryu is no longer in the Yakuza. So now they're focusing on the new guy. I can't think of his name, but he has like spiky hair and facial hair. I can't think of his name though.
I've never played the game, so I've just heard a
You should.
lot.
They're awesome.
I
They're
I
a
will
lot of
put it
fun.
on my backlog.
Sure.
I haven't
Just make
even
sure
heard
you
this
have
game.
about 90 hours to play one of them.
Yeah.
They're really long games.
Apparently
I
there's
haven't even heard this game, but I was laughing because it, like a dragon, just made me think of Madonna, like a dragon. Instead of
apparently
Sorry.
there is you don't have to play all of the games to get caught up with Infinite Wealth. It's like
Dragon.
2, 5, 6. It's like 3 or 4 of the games that you have to play to get the gist of the story and catch up.
This looks like shoot, what's it called? It was on Dreamcast. What's that?
Shenmue.
That's Shenmue. Yeah, it looked like
Shenmue is kind of like a precursor to the Yakuza series. They kind of built off each other.
I never played Shenmue, but I watched my brother play it a lot. Didn't they like re-release that on the Switch, Shenmue?
They did back before the pandemic, probably 2018, 2017.
With one of the last
They
E3s.
re-released one. Yeah, they re-released 1 and 2, and then they did Shenmue 3 as a big E3 thing a few years ago.
Yeah,
Wasn't it
right.
not a patron, a crowdfunded game?
It was a Patreon. And
Really?
what's that thing called? Kickstarter.
Yeah, Kickstarter. That's what it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a Kickstarter thing.
They announced the Kickstarter at E3 as they were
Yeah.
announcing that they were bringing like remastering 1 and 2.
right.
Yep,
It was
that's right.
it was the last year that Sony did an actual conference, not the 4-game thing that they did in their final year at E3.
So that would probably been what, 2016, 2017?
Yes.
Probably
Yeah.
2016.
That was still 8 years ago. Gosh. We're old. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is coming to PC, PS4 and 5, and Xbox One and the series.
Xbox One, really?
Apparently, they've made it for the last gen consoles as well, because all the games are still for the old and the new.
Yeah, that's true.
Tekken 8 is coming out that same day. For those who are fighting fans on PC, PS5, and Series X and S. Hopping into February. Actually, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth starts this. The Japanese RPGs have like a 4 or 5 week window that there's a new Japanese RPG coming out like every week or like right together. First one starting Grand Blue Fantasy Relink for PC, PS4, and PS5.
February 1st.
Anime, JRPG. The next day, on the 2nd, Persona 3 Reload comes out for PC, PS4, 5, and Xbox One and Series. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. The Persona 5 has definitely gotten a lot of people interested into the Persona series and the Shin Megami Tensei series as a whole, because the Persona are offshoots of the Megami Tensei games. This is it definitely looks really pretty. I probably need to cancel my pre-order of it. It's sad, but I think I need to do that. I cannot get the collector's edition for it. I do not have the money.
Yeah.
I kind of messed up with this because I got the limited run game series one because I thought that was the Reloaded, but it's actually the old one.
Yes.
They ported to the. So I got the wrong Persona 3.
You got P3P, the portable one.
Yeah, the portable one from limited run games.
Yeah. It definitely looks like a great upgrade from the Vita, I think is what this came out on, or the PSP. One of the two. That same day, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League comes out on PS5, uh, Series S and X, and PC. I hope they have fixed a lot of the issues of like the bullet sponges, the purple bullet sponges that people were complaining about, and the fact that like each character basically felt like the same thing. I guess we'll just have to see.
I'll
Luke,
say this on that. I really enjoyed the beta they had. I know I
okay,
signed the NDA saying I wouldn't talk about it, and I won't. Other than I had fun. Um,
okay,
my only complaint is it's not Arkham, but that's to be expected. It's not Arkham. It's a different game,
it's something completely.
but it is fun. I thought.
I did not. I lost track of time, and I did not get to play in the beta, even though I was signed up for it. So, Luke, you wanted to talk about Helldivers 2 coming out on February 8th.
Oh, sure. I'll just say something briefly about it. For the listeners and watchers of this, have you ever wanted to play Starship Troopers in real life? Well, if so, here's your chance. You're fighting big
Yeah.
bugs or bug-like creatures. It looks awesome. Arrowhead have done a good job with this game. It looks like friendly fire is possible in this game.
Oh
So
gosh.
if your buddies aren't pulling their weight with the bosses, you just take them out too. So it looks like a lot of fun, and hopefully this will get Sony back into the multiplayer realm of being a force to be reckoned with. So pick it up, check it out.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. It looks awesome. Reminds me of, don't remember the name of the game, but I think it first came out on the 360. It looks very similar, third person, and
I think I know what one you're
weird
talking about.
pictures. Like the spots where you shoot are like orange.
Is
I
it
think
Lost
you might
Planet?
have been Lost Planet. I think so. Let me look. Lost Planet. Yes,
Yeah.
Lost Planet. That was it. It looks a lot like that, and I sucked at it then, but I've gotten better at third-person shooter games since then. So I think I might try this one out. It looks wicked. Space Troopers, like you said. I got the book for. Seen the movie Planet of Times, but I just got the book on that. I still got to read. But yeah, that looks fun. The recommendation.
Awesome. On
Uh,
February 14th, if you want to do some old school gaming, Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered is coming out to everything. One of the fun things about that one is you can switch back and forth between the 64 graphics and the brand new graphics, just like with a touch of a button.
like Halo Anniversary Edition,
Yes. Only
but a
more
rectangular.
difference. All the
You probably-
polygons.
Yeah, I could probably use the old Tomb Raider games to do your geometry homework. Like that's how bad.
Basically. 2 days later, on the 16th, game that has been delayed 6 times? 5 or 6 times?
Back when
I haven't heard of this one, so I don't know.
Oh, I think did your mic just die again?
hopefully not.
Okay, no, you're good.
Okay.
Skull and Bones is finally coming to PC, PS5, and Series S and X. The pirate game that wants to be more piratey than Sea of Thieves.
Skull and Bones.
I think it's basically taking the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag ship mechanic and just making an entire game around that.
Sounds cool.
At least that's the impressions that I got. I haven't really looked into it much beyond that because I won't believe it is out until it's out.
Yeah.
Because that is still a month and a half away. There's a good chance it could get pushed back again. But if you wanted something that will actually be out on February 16th, Mario vs. Donkey Kong for the Nintendo Switch. It is a remake of the original GBA one, which is a remake or a spiritual successor, of Donkey Kong 94 for the Game Boy. Where you have just you're getting through all of these levels to rescue all the Mario toys, because Donkey Kong had went into the toy factory and stole all the Mario toys that were there, and Mario's going back to get them all. Silly concepts, but fun gameplay from what I've heard. And then my most anticipated game for 2024, as of right now, comes out on leap year, on leap day. February 29th. I mean, why wouldn't you release a game at that time if you could?
Right.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The way they are changing this game but keeping it the same is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a glimpse of it in Remake, of like the different things they were trying to do. With how they could try to change the story, but there were also these like specters keeping the story intact, because there is a set how to in a storm of multiverses, there is a set timeline, there is a set way that things are supposed to happen. And it's getting messed up. You saw a glimpse of it, the scene that's going to be in Rebirth with Aerith at the northern temple. Is that what it's called? Square knows what they're doing in their marketing, and I hate them for it. Their big trailer that they had at the Game Awards ends on that scene with just enough, like, oh, is it going to happen? Is it not? They cut away, and it's done. And they keep putting a picture of it out there, of her just sitting there praying to empower the white materia. I don't want to. It's a 20-year-old game, 25-year-old game, but I like, if you haven't played it, I don't want to spoil that scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it is
I'll
so.
probably never play.
Have you played either the original?
I haven't played any Final Fantasy game. I've
Okay.
dabbled in them, but I've never.
Okay.
finished
I
a
will.
single one.
I will not. I will keep.
Or I won't care, but at least for our listeners.
Absolutely. I mean, you could go play the game right now and see what happens. It'd take you like a few hours, because I have it on my Switch, and you can hit these buttons where the game goes up to like either 2 or 4 times the speed. You can hit a button and you just always have full health. You hit a button and your super limit break attack is always active, so you can just like mow through anything and build up everything. So you could get there in like 4 hours, 5 hours with those things on easily. But they're making it open world, but also like the first one was very linear because you're inside a city.
Yeah.
This is, you're out in the world now. And so they're letting you go places, but it's not like the problems I have with open world games from what it sounds like, where it's like there's just too much to do out there, like with Spider-Man 2018 and the one that just came out, like, oh, here's a collective thing here, here's a collective thing there. It's all based on like quests, or there might be a hidden thing. So these be oh, I don't think I'm doing anything else but that once that comes out. Enough fanboying. That's only for the PS5, by the way. For right now, it'll come to PC probably later because remake and integrator on
Even if I
PC.
wanted to play, I wouldn't be able to.
March 8th, Unicorn Overlord comes out on the Switch, PS4, 5, and Series S and X. I don't know why it's not coming out on PC, but it's a tactics RPG. It looks very interesting. I just know that I don't play tactics games very long. I think, Luke, you had that on your list of games that you were either had pre-ordered.
Yeah, for me, I'm not really a tactics fan, but I'm a fan of this particular studio of Vanillaware. They make beautiful games. They made Muramasa Demon Blade for the PS Vita and Nintendo Wii. They did Dragon's Crown. They did Ender Lilies. They just make beautiful games. So for me, it's all about their art style. So if you want some interesting, beautiful art, pick this game up.
Is
I
it a
can't speak about the.
is it an
Go
HD
ahead.
2D? Is it an HD 2D game, or is it just a very pretty game? I can't remember.
I think it's just a very pretty game.
Okay, that's a
Usually they're side scrolling type games.
uh-huh.
Um, but they're just really pretty games. They just make beautiful games.
Awesome. I
If you like art, you like that.
I will definitely enjoy watching Twitch streams of that. I think.
Yeah,
I think that's where I'm gonna probably be with it.
that and Tactics Ogre, kind of the same way I am with that.
I usually watch Twitch streams before I decide to purchase a game. But like well, not really a new game, like a type that I've never really played before, or don't have a lot of experience
I
in.
mean, that's a good idea.
And this would be one of them.
Absolutely. March has a big hole in it. It's not every week. But then on the 22nd, 3 games come out that are bigger deals. Princess Peach Showtime, which looks like a much better solo game for the princess of Mushroom Kingdom, where she's just going through these different stage plays with different costumes, having different kind of just ways to play her. And it looks fun. It looks very beautiful for a Switch game. It I definitely wanna. I'm looking forward to playing that one. Next one for the PS5, Rise of the Ronin, I think is how it's pronounced. Um, what type of game is that?
It's looks I don't think it is one, but it looks like a Souls type game.
That's what it was.
Well,
Yes,
Yeah, that's
with elements of Ghost of Tsushima
it's it's
is
made
what it looks like.
it's made by Team Ninja, so I think it's
Right.
probably closer to uh Ghost of Tsushima than any other one. That's I remember. Yeah, that's what the trailers were like. It looked very much like that to me, at least.
I can't play those games. I'm so bad at them. My brother, he got into Souls, Dead Souls, whatever the heck it's called.
Uh-huh.
Recently, and actually beat it, and now he's going through Elden Ring. which he said is like a slightly easier version of it. He's been trying to convince me to
It is
into it.
the most popular Souls-like game.
Yeah.
It is probably the most approachable, but there's a difficulty curve in it. Like, okay, there are some that are very easy, and some
Yeah,
that just
it's Dark Souls. Yeah, that's one. Dead Souls. Dark Souls.
Dead Souls
mean,
is also.
yeah, but I was thinking Dark Souls. Dark Souls. I'm both of them, especially Elden Ring, because it's come as Lord of the Rings. Look really cool, but I am just so bad at those. Probably because I know it's because I'm a button masher,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not a game where you button mash. You actually have to
Yeah.
like kind of you have to
Time your stuff.
you have to time it, and you have to observe like the way they move their and the moves they use. But you have to know you have to study your enemy, and it's like I don't want to study my enemy. I just want to mash and
I'm
kill
done with school.
him. Yeah, exactly. I just want to mash and kill him. That's all I want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. And the last one for March 22nd, Dragon's Dogma 2. Luke, I think you put that one in there.
Yeah. I didn't play Dragon's Dogma, so I can't really comment on it other than it looks like a neat um, fantasy style RPG again with Souls like elements. I think it looks really cool, but I don't know if I'll play it or not.
So many fun things.
Capcom released like a 20-minute video showing gameplay and features and stuff. And it looks great if you like that type of game, like the harder, challenging Souls type game. But I can't play those anymore because of they're not accessible for me. So I don't know.
That's unfortunate. And Ricky, I'm gonna save that one for the DLC
DLC expansion.
expansions. Yep.
I didn't see that there until
No
a few minutes
worries.
ago.
So that's only the first quarter of the year. We've only gone through March. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games that have piqued interest or our interests in one way or another. Or just we know that they're going to be popular. Like Tekken 8. I'm pretty sure I don't think any of us are going to be buying that one, but there are quite a few games here that we know are coming out in 24. But we don't know when.
Yep.
And I just had to start this one off with Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. A game that has been stuck on the GameCube since it released in 2003 or 4, I think.
2000.
When did that original come out? Whatever, doesn't matter.
I just put in Paper Mario release date is 2000.
Okay. It
I'm trying to
is.
look up the.
It is like, in my opinion, the best Paper Mario game. Like the first one and that one go back and forth. I mean that's what a lot of the people who are fans of the series like. Either like the first one or the second one, and then the next one, the other one is right there, or you like the third one, Super Paper Mario, which was the one that was like the side-scrolling games. But the way that this thing looks, it looks beautiful. It looks like Color Splash or the Origami King in the way they've done the graphics and the way they've done the paper, making the entire world out of cardboard and paper. But um the fact that it is coming out like I know completely shocked me.
Yeah.
And from what I saw of a lot of other people, it shocked many others that Nintendo actually listened to people and brought this out instead of remaking one, which is on the um, Switch Online, Nintendo Online, at the NSO stuff. What was I just gonna say? I lost it. I'll come back. It'll come back. The Nope, I lost it. Oh, that's what it was. I think that this will be a turning point for Nintendo, depending on the sales numbers of this game. If they are going to continue in the way that the last 3 games have gone with this series, Sticker Star, Color Splash, and Origami King, where it's not really an RPG, but it is. You just collect cards, and then you just use them. You're just basically, it's a game. It's an RPG where the way you attack is using items. Is the best way for me to describe it. And I just never could get into it because of that. Like, battles are meaningless. They just they're just something that are in your way, so you could just skip everything and get to the boss, and you will have no problems. Like it's where this one was like the epitome of the action command RPG that started with the Super Nintendo one with Mario RPG, where the story was just so extremely elaborate. The characters, it was one of the last Nintendo games where Toads were all completely individual instead of just clones of Toads right next to each other. Where Bowser and all of his minions had individuality. Especially his minions, I should say. Bowser has kept his quirkiness ever since. Thank you, Jack Black. You did a great job. But no, this game, if the sales numbers on this one can outdo Origami King, I can see Nintendo maybe looking at the possibility that this is the direction that people want the game to go. At least that's a hope. But we all know Nintendo does their own thing, no matter what we say. So that's my hopes. That's my soapbox on Paper Mario. Luigi's Mansion 2, the DS one, is getting an HD up, and it looks like it's just an HD upgrade. It's okay. I didn't play it on the previous one, so I may pick this one up. I might not. I don't know. Like we said before, Star Wars Outlaws is an unknown, but according to that blog post, it might be coming out in late 24. The Wolf Among Us 2. Ricky.
Final.
Oh.
Yeah. The Wolf Among Us was my very first Telltale Games game. So yeah, this my for a dark game, this is like where my heart is at for Telltale games.
Do you know if it's going to be sticking to the Telltale formula, or does it look like they have adjusted the formula a bit? Because that was a complaint that people were just getting sick of all the Tales of games. Or the Telltale, like,
The
oh yeah, it's
episodic
just good.
stuff.
Yeah. How the story stuff goes. It's just like, oh, it's just a button command.
I don't know,
Okay.
and I don't know if they've released any of those details. That's kind of what I was been expecting.
Have they had a trailer for it?
They had
Or
a couple trailers for it.
okay.
It's been a long time since I've seen anything about it. I just know it's coming out, and for me, I didn't mind the episodic format.
Mhm.
I don't know what complaints people had about it.
People complain about everything.
Yeah, they do. Maybe it's how they're released or whatever. Whatever. But all I know is that The Wolf Among Us 2 takes place 6 months after the events of season 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was my first Telltale games, and plus, not only that, I mean, it's the other reason I'm excited about it is just because of the universe it takes place in. You know, the went on to Grimm's fairy tales. You know,
Oh,
and
sure.
using sticking to the actual like darkness of those tales, like the original, um, and how messed up they were, but putting their own twist on it still. But it's not so like if you haven't played um, Wolf Among Us, um, so you know the
I
original Snow
haven't.
White and okay, yeah, this is the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs fairy tale. Uh, Snow White was actually raped by seven
I
dwarves.
mean, yeah, the entire Grimm's fairy tales are not what Disney gave us.
Right. So Snow White and the first Wolf Among Us, this is like after that happened, and you know, basically after she had kind of dealt with the trauma of it, she's just a strong female character. Um, and I don't remember much about the story. It was years ago since I played it. Anyway, um, you play as the big bad wolf, who's like a detective, um, and it's just great. So I'm looking forward to it.
I was like, do I have that? I have the
But let
GameCube
me
version
see
of
here.
Hit the Thousand Year Door over there. Sorry, I was my brain
Um,
just
yeah, it was 10 years. Yeah, I was thinking it was 10 years, and yeah, 10 years
10 years.
ago, The Wolf Among Us was released.
That
Oh,
was
that's when I played it, but that's when it was
I
released.
can't remember. Was that based off a manga or a graphic novel, or was it just all original stories based off Grimm's fairy tales? I can't remember how that all came out. It came about. You guys know?
uh-uh.
No, I always
It
thought it was
looks
just
like a
their,
comic book.
yeah. Um, it might be from because they did some Walking Dead stuff. Uh, although yeah, I think even those are originals. Even what's her face's story, the black woman, with the samurai sword.
Oh, Michonne.
Michonne. They did one of her. I think even that's original and not according to her comics. I'm not. I might be wrong about that. I probably am. There's a lot of stuff that I've either played or watched that are based on comics and I didn't even know. So it just might be. But I
Okay.
want to say it's original. Huh?
It is based off a comic book called
Oh.
Fables.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's a comic series about this where there are characters in that universe.
Oh yeah. It's right there on Google too. I'm looking right at
And
it. Based on Bill
apparently there's going to be
Williams.
legal
Yeah.
there could have been legal things between the DC creator Bill Willingham and
Yeah.
Telltale over the
Maybe that's why
IP.
it took 10 years for them to make the second game.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
I didn't know that. See, like I said,
You
a
learned
lot of
something
stuff
new.
I play or watch based on comics. Not even aware of it. I'm not really in the like community. So
Sure.
my brother is when it comes to Sonic, but Anyway,
Anyway.
that's all I have to say about
Oh, okay.
the Wolf Among Us 2.
Thank you for sharing. I put this next one on mostly because it goes into my talk on the next Nintendo console, Visions of Mana, and the next game in the Mana series, the first new Mana game in 10, 15 years. That wasn't a remake. It is being paraded around on all of their social medias on this being available on every system but Nintendo. And this game just screams Nintendo to me.
Yeah, I'm
So-
looking at the images, and that's I thought it was going to be for Nintendo until you said that.
So my thought on what is going on with this game is that it is going to be in the launch window of the next Nintendo system.
Oh, I see.
And they are not going to be the ones to announce that it's coming for the next Nintendo system.
Yeah.
So they're doing all that they can. Like, it's going to be on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X. Like, every single Twitter post I see on that, it ends with that bit. And it's just like, are you guys really abandoning Nintendo, who you guys are just like buddy now after so many years, where everything else is coming to Nintendo, like in this vein, in this genre that isn't like super high end graphics? You're just gonna leave out your partner? No, I personally don't think so. That's speculation. We'll
You
leave
see
it
that
at that.
happening.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Visions of Mana is being released on the new Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
I can see that. It's been done plenty of times.
Absolutely. But
on
they
every
are
console.
just tiptoeing around the fact
Yeah.
that they are going to announce this thing, or not going to announce it, or wait until somebody else announces it.
Mhm.
Stellar Blade. What is that game about?
Well, it was announced a couple years ago as Project Eve, and then it's kind of gone through different iterations of becoming Stellar Blade. What it looks like to me is a very stylized action game, like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, or even like Astral Chain. It's very action focused. I think it looks really cool. It takes place in post-apocalyptic America, and the trailers you see the character, I don't know what her name is, I'll call her Eve, fighting like big machines like near Automata, something similar to that.
You were
So
right.
it looks like a really cool action game.
The protagonist's name is. You were right.
Okay, makes sense. Project Eve, yeah.
Oh, and she meets a survivor named Adam.
Of course.
All right.
Mhm.
Who leads her to Zion with an X. Because X can sometimes have a Z sound.
Which is so stupid. The English language is dumb.
I think
Sorry.
X, the letter X, they just threw in there like it can be 5 different things because we have no idea. We don't want to try to make 5 more letters, so it's just gonna be X
Right.
because it can be
There's so,
Z.
there's so many letters that we could just get rid of in the English language, like the letter C. It performs a function of a K and an S, but we already have letters that make those sounds. So we don't need a C. Just get rid of C. Right. In the English, I'm gonna stop. I excelled in the biblical languages. I love linguistics.
Oh, sure.
um, so
When you
I
learn dead
um,
languages, you get to know your own language much better.
you do, you
I
really
mean,
do.
when you learn any language, you get to learn your own much better, but
Yes, especially the
especially
dead
when you
ones.
can't speak it, you have to read it.
Yes.
That sounds like a fun game. All right, on to DLC and expansions. Destiny 2 unfortunately had a pushback from the end of February to
Yep.
June.
Yep. It was February 28th, and now it's June 4th because if you're not in the whole, if you're not in the Destiny community, or if you are just unaware of things that happen, there are a bunch of layoffs that happened, which we mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, as well as the previous episode, which was very messy, um, very unethical. Still not entirely sure why it happened, whether it's because the merger with Sony, which earlier this year, or not this year, last February, they said that there would be no layoffs because of their merger with Sony. And then come November, I believe is November, all of a sudden, a bunch of people find out that they no longer have jobs. So nobody saw it coming.
And didn't they tell everybody just in like the worst possible way too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of them got them in emails.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so because of that, there is a delay, which understandably upset a lot of people. But for me, I wasn't upset. I was expecting it, number one. And number two, I'd rather have a finished game,
Yeah.
especially because of what this expansion is going to be. It is the final expansion for the In Darkness saga. This is the 10th year of Destiny. And when they were coming out with Destiny, they said that they had a 10-year plan for it, and this is it. So yeah, this is so it's the oh yeah, the expansion is the final shape, if you don't know, the final shape. Um and there are a lot of exciting things coming though. Yeah, I'm glad that I get to wait till June because again, I want to finish game, but also because there's a bunch of other games that I want to
Oh,
concentrate on.
it's not like the
um
first quarter of the year has any games.
right. So just give me more time to focus on other games, and other things in life.
Sure.
Um, and but there are some really exciting things. I said this in the first episode, but I'll just say them again. The things I'm really looking forward to is the move from the seasonal format to the episodic format. Can look this up real quick. Um, so there's going to be 3 episodes for the whole year. Um, the first episode is Echoes for March, so not March through June now, but you got to change it. Echoes is the first episode, and then Revenant, and then Heresy for the first year. And in each of those episodes are going to be 3 acts. Um, is going to be 6 weeks. And within each of those acts, there's going to be new quests, a new story, new activities, new weapons, new artifact mods, season pass ranks, and rewards, and new armor, of course.
That's ambitious for 6 weeks.
It is. So
Were those
why?
promises made before the layoffs? Okay.
So I think that's why they pushed it back
Hmm.
4 months, because that is a lot of work.
Uh-huh.
And so thinking about it, why I'm not upset is again, I want a finished game, a finished product. And second, the developers, human beings,
What?
I don't want the people who are making the game I enjoy to be like incredibly stressed out, right? To the point that they are working inhumane hours, which Bungie has been known to do, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate thing across the entire industry.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure put on them from their bosses, but also the community, because I mean, every community has their toxic people, and some of them have even like sent death threats to actual developers, and it's just people, just evil people.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's
Yeah.
the first thing I'm excited about. I think that the episodic format is going to be better than the seasonal thing.
Yeah.
And it appears like there's always going to be something to do rather than like right now. Because like towards the end of the year, there's always like this 6 week period of boredom of just there's nothing to do until the new year expansion. And of course, that's gonna be a lot longer now with the delay. But they did say some things that there are gonna be some things this year coming out before the final shape release. Like I forget what they were, but some sort of new anniversary thing, whatever it was. Anyway, so I'm really looking forward to the new episodic cadence. Um, there are going to be new light supers.
Because they did
And
Darkness a couple expansions ago.
it was, yeah, Beyond Light was when the first Darkness super was introduced, Stasis, and then Strand for this past year, Lightfall. So new light supers. It's not going to be entirely new subclasses. It's going to be a new, what do you call it, a branch of each subclass,
Okay.
depending on the class that you play as. So Warlocks are getting a new Solar super, and you're basically roaming around, flicking your finger, setting things on fire, and you get a fire soul buddy. Like you got the Arc Soul, you got the Void Soul, and now you get a little fire soul buddy to set people on fire. The Titan gets is getting a new Void super, which you launch into the air, and you throw these giant like battle axes on the ground, and it like towards all the enemies nearby and just blows them up.
I wasn't a
And
Titan
then
main.
yeah, that looks incredibly fun. I've been a Titan main for a long time. I've been playing as a Warlock for the current season right now, because Space Magic is awesome and blowing things up. But I might go back to Titan. Anyway, and then the new Hunter subclasses for Arc, which I'm not too excited about it. You throw these arc knives, and then you like teleport to them and do this big like a hunter spin thing and disintegrate everything. Does not look nearly as fun as throwing the current new arc super for hunter. It doesn't look nearly as exciting as just throwing an arc staff right on the enemy's face and annihilating everything in its radius. But so that is I'm excited for, and there's just the expansion. It's just the story of the final shape. What the heck? Lore wise, I know what the final shape is, and if you're into the lore, you should know what it is,
Cade,
especially if
right?
you've been watching My Name is Bife lore videos. But yeah, Cade 6 is back. No, to use the awesome Star Wars Palpatine line, somehow Cade 6 is back.
I mean, why
but
would you get rid of Nathan Fillion? I'm sorry. That was the
yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll talk about that in a second. But so somehow Cade 6 is back, but I know it will be fully explained in the lore when Final Shape comes out. Yeah, but anyway, so Nathan Fillion leaving with the death of Cade 6 sucked, but the expansion where that happened, which was Forsaken, when Destiny 2 was at its best. Because right before that, there was like a high chance that Destiny 2 was not going to be around any longer.
Yep.
But then Forsaken literally just changed everything. So it was bittersweet. A bitter that beloved character Cade on. But sweet in that it introduced just a new era of Destiny that made the game awesome. Yeah, but now he's going to be back, and how that happens, really looking forward to see how lore explains it.
That should be interesting.
Because it's supposed to be impossible. With him being, I'm not going to get into all of it, but with him being an exo and a dead guardian,
Yep.
it's impossible for him to come back. But how through the lore, there's a way.
Somehow.
Hopefully, it's not just a retcon. Hopefully, it's actually something that makes sense.
Nah.
And so, therefore, hopefully, it's not like, oh, because of the veil. I don't know what the veil is, so. Anyway, so that's the final shape, June 4th.
All right. I'm not gonna get into the WoW thing too much, but World of Warcraft: The War Within is getting their new expansion, the start of the World Soul Saga. Do yourself a favor, find Chris Metzen's presentation from BlizzCon this last November. Watch it. The passion in that man's voice. He is. Oh, it is wonderful that Metzen is back to finish up some of this story, because it's been wandering since he left. But yeah, you could definitely go into all sorts of things, but we'll leave it at that. It's a new expansion, and WoW, you get all the stuff from WoW that you get. So looks interesting. I'm still not probably going to get back into it because I like my life.
I know I never will. I dabbled in it many years ago. But I know I never will, just because I have 2 other MMOs I'm playing. I don't need a third.
Yeah, no, you can't. I learned that quick. Like, that's why one of the things I stopped playing Destiny is it's like I couldn't handle both it and WoW at the same time. Like, I can't even handle just like single player games in WoW at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you need to keep playing to progress your item level, your character.
Yep.
But that's all the stuff that we know so far for games and DLC and expansions. We're going to hop over quick to movies, but then we're going to do some quick speculating. We're definitely going to do it quick because we're going long. Are you guys still good for?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing going on.
All right. Movies. Sometime this first quarter, the Knuckles movie or show is coming out.
Knuckles. My favorite Sonic character.
On April 12th, the Fallout TV series will be starting. That's from Amazon.
Looks pretty good. They had a new trailer recently.
Yes.
Actually looks like I just hope it's not going to be like a Halo situation. You know, they did come out and say it's not going to be, well, with Halo they did come out and say it's not going to be
part of the main story, like
part of the universe.
The people who wrote it never actually played the games, I think was what it was.
Oh, yeah, and they did say that they're going to do that, but it's like, if you're making a Halo TV show, why would you not put it in the same universe as the games and the books? Why? You got the budget, clearly. Why would you do this? And literally, character assassinate Master Chief and everybody else, but mostly the Master Chief. It's the worst character assassination in history. So anyway, I'm hoping they don't do that with Fallout.
Hopefully. Yeah, it's because they wanted to take off Master Chief's costume and not just have him as a big giant armored guy the entire time. Because apparently you can't
Yeah.
show emotion with a mask on.
Which you definitely can, especially if you read the books.
Or if
Read
you
the
just
books,
play the
then
games and watch things.
there's this thing called body language.
Yeah. And music does
Oh,
wonders.
Oh yeah, good old Marty O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore. Those guys are great.
All right. 2 more movies. Borderlands movie comes out August 9th.
Scared about that.
Yeah.
Just with the cast choices, except Jack Black as Claptrap was probably the best choice.
Of course.
Everybody else, I'm not sure.
I mean, Jack Black in anything.
Yeah.
These days.
You can give Jack Black a role in anything and he will do it.
Because he's really only going for things that he likes, I think.
Yeah.
At this point. He has the money. He doesn't care. He'll make TikTok videos in his underwear. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
What you think of him.
I love that man. That man is my spirit animal.
Absolutely. And then right before Christmas, on the 20th of December, Sonic 3 is coming out. Yeah. I need to watch Sonic 2. I have it. I just haven't watched it yet.
It's good. My only problem with it is they do something that as a color person I see as kind of racist, which is the black woman, the sister of the guy's wife.
Okay.
She is basically the comedic relief by being an obnoxious black woman. Which I hate it when movies do that.
That's unfortunate.
It's insulting. It's insulting to me and my family, and it's completely unnecessary narratively speaking.
Absolutely.
Like, you have Sonic as a comic relief. That's all you need. It's Sonic. He makes puns. You know?
Yeah.
Like and he's a child. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's my only thing about the second movie. Otherwise, pretty good.
I just gotta find 2 hours to spend that I'm not watching anime. To be announced shows: Dead Cells. It's going to be an animated series, and then Netflix is making Devil May Cry and Tomb Raider shows. See how all of those pan out.
The Raider show one anime.
I don't know. It did not say what. Or yes, it is. Both of them are anime, actually. I didn't. It helps if you read. Yeah, they're both anime.
There's a Dragon Age anime on there that's really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. No, I was thinking of another Dragon one. I didn't watch.
No, Dragon Dogma is on there as a anime series.
Oh no! I watched the Dragon Age one. I was thinking, my brain was thinking it was the Cyberpunk. Did not watch the Cyberpunk.
Oh, that was really good. I enjoyed that one, the Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Or the League of Legends stuff.
So those are movies or in TV. I just thought of because I read a lot. The only thing that really comes to mind is last year the latest Halo book, Outcasts, was published.
Yeah.
I think there's like 34 Halo books, Yeah, so I'm reading through all of them right now. Some of them have been second or third times. Um, but yeah, I'm reading through all of them, so it's a project. But yeah, if you like Halo a lot and you like the lore, you like to read, Halo Outcasts was the most recently published one on, in last August. And this one takes place. The two main characters, just based on the cover, are Arbiter or Thalvatum and Spartan Olympia Vale, who is in Halo 5. Part of the team that's going after the Master Chief and Blue Team.
I don't remember the story of Halo 5.
Olympia Vale is a Spartan who can speak Sangheili.
Okay.
She's one of the Sangheili experts. But so it's basically something, whatever the story with the two of them. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. But I got to look more into like recent video game book stuff, because I really like reading those.
Sounds like a fun endeavor.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Well,
what's
again,
next?
that's all the stuff that we know for 2024, which isn't much, at least much of the year. Probably the biggest elephant in the closet is Nintendo going to have a new console this year. This is year 8 of the Switch. That's getting long in the tooth already for any console. Obviously, pandemic pushed a lot of things around.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it continues to have effects on everything, especially game stuff. Do you guys think that there will be a console this year?
I think we
I
might
don't know.
see one announced, but I don't see them releasing anything in 2024.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think they'll finish out the games they have already announced for Switch, and maybe do something the first of next year. I don't see them launching one this year, but
All of
that's
the
just
games
my
that they
thought.
have announced only are up through at latest summer. There are no games announced for the second half of the year.
They're thinking maybe like a fall or winter release next year or this
That
year. I mean,
honestly, that's where I'm leaning towards, like a November release.
I could see it happening, but I'm not sure. I didn't even know about it until you brought it up at the beginning.
Yeah. It There have been rumblings for quite a while. I mean, like, Nintendo denies it, of course, but apparently there were backdoor meetings with game developers that Nintendo led, introducing them to what the hardware was. So if that's happening, there is a set console in mind. It's just figuring out when production happens,
Yeah.
and where it's going. Nintendo has gotten into a habit ever since they announced Metroid Prime 4, and it has been 5 years since they've done that. 4 or 5 years. They have not announced things. I should take that back. Except for Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. They have really not announced new games really more than 6 months out. When they announced them.
Yeah.
So that makes me think that when we have our next direct, which will be end of January, beginning of February. Yeah, somewhere in there, because that's what historically has happened. On a Tuesday at 8 p.m., 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern, we'll have a direct. I don't know if they are going to say anything in this one. If it is a fall release, they might not even say anything until September. Because the Switch was announced to be the Switch in February, and it was released in March, or January or February of 2016. So, if they're playing their cards close to the chest, that's when we will hear about it. Now, if we're looking at all the rumors, all of the different things that people have said, trying to weed through things that are plausible, things that are not plausible, it will likely be another handheld system, like the combo TV handheld.
Yeah, which I love, by the way.
It married the two pillars.
Yeah.
Of home console and portable, so that they just could create games for one system.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little powered up, but we also know that is harder to do than you think. The Steam Deck, the Razer, they're more powerful, but they're chunky things, and they burn you up. Their battery life. So how is Nintendo going to handle that? They are wizards. They do,
They'll figure it
but they also don't care. They don't care about being the best graphics on the market. But at this point, third-party developers are refusing to put things on the system because it is so far back. It is late PS3, early PS4 style graphics that they're working with the Switch. So
yeah,
they might just be having to put it out sooner than later if they care about having other companies' games on their platform. So it's been 8 years, and they have stretched things out fairly well so far. Like, they pushed Zelda back a year, which gave this year more games for them.
yeah.
But like I said, this year, like, we know of 5 games from Nintendo. I didn't put one on there, or on our list. 5 games. 3 of them have release dates up through March. We don't know about the other 2.
Yeah, that's not a whole lot either.
No. So I can't not see them. I know using a double negative is in English is not the same as using a double negative in other languages. But again, Nintendo does their own thing. They march to the beat of their own drum. So it makes sense to the rest of the world. May not be what they think is right. You guys may be very well right that it would be first quarter next year. I hope not.
I can see them doing it late this year.
I think that would
Fall.
be a big holiday sales.
Yeah.
The problem is the Switch keeps selling. It's over
Yeah.
133 million units sold. The only things
I
that are
think
above it are the PS2 and the Game Boy. And nobody's going to ever beat the PS2 because it was also the first affordable DVD player.
mm,
And so you got a lot of consumer marketing that weren't caring about gaming that bought it. And the Game
yeah.
Boy was the Game Boy.
Yeah.
It was the portable masterpiece that
I miss the Game Boy much. I don't even know where my Game Boys are. I don't have them in my house, which is sad. I have my Nintendo DS that's designed with the NES.
I got my fat boy here. I need to re-glue the screen on the top of it, but
Oh man,
I got my fat boy right here. Then I
my
just found
first
it the other day or the other last year.
my first Game Boy was actually the Game Boy Pocket. Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
best
I got
iteration
red.
of the Game Boy
Yeah.
because you could play it one-handed. But I don't know if you guys saw these or not. But I had to get one of these. The analog Pocket.
Oh yeah.
And I got
Oh,
the streaming deck with it so that I could play them on my computer. But
yeah.
it's the ability to play all the Game Boy games with a rechargeable battery that thing had, but to be able to stream them too. So
Okay, analog.
those
I
things
need to
sell
get
out
that.
all the time.
Yeah.
They have been having a lot of fun colors of late. So my family never threw anything away with gaming.
I need a.
Or sold
My
anything.
mom's got storage somewhere. She probably has all my old boy games in a box somewhere. Storage. I need to find those.
Speaking of Thousand Year Door. Like I said, we never threw anything away or sold it.
Yeah.
But no, that's my thinking on what if Nintendo will have a new console. I think yes. I have been persuaded by a lot of others that it will be sometime this year.
I see it happening. Just based on their history of other releases.
Absolutely. Do you guys think there's going to be any mid-gen refreshes?
Mid-gen refreshes.
Like the PS4 to PS4 Pro?
Honestly, I hope there is not a mid-gen refresh
Yeah.
because we're 3 years in, 4 years into this generation, and I mean, really, what's pushing the PS5's capabilities? Maybe Final Fantasy 16, but is there a different game that really pushes it to its limits?
I mean, most games still come out for the PS4.
Right. So we're still dealing with last gen's games on current gen's consoles. I don't think we need the refresh this generation yet. Maybe another year or so, maybe, but until we're challenging the system, I don't think so.
And by that time, it's going to be 5-6 years old. You're going
Right.
to be looking at the next system.
Yeah, I saw in the Microsoft data leak stuff from the AKB thing. They're maybe possibly a new Xbox out in 2028. So I mean
Yes.
that'd be like right around that point.
Yep.
So I think right now there's no need for a mid-gen refresh.
I mean, I think the PS5 already has a slim model coming out. I think Xbox is having a slim model, according to the leaks, coming out this year. an all digital model for the Series X. So I personally can't see them having an upgrade mid gen for all of the reasons you said. And it's just, if they're keeping on schedule, there is no time because people are just now having the system. Like this last year.
Well, it could be with the pandemic that this is a longer generation, kind of like the PS3 or PS4 was, where it was like 7 or 8 or even 9 years long that we have this console. So
That's
I mean,
true.
it could be a longer generation, and so we get a mid gen refresh eventually.
It took me
But right
over
now,
it took me over a year to get the Xbox Series X. How long it took me.
I didn't get them both on launch. No, they. I mean that could be a thing. It might also just be how good GPUs get. I mean, GPUs are growing fairly steadily in their power and their cooling capability and their processing capability. They might just want to make a new one so that they can make prettier, fancier things and spend oodles of more money on development because people only want to buy real life looking things. And that's why Microsoft bought Activision. They wanted Call of Duty. All the Blizzard stuff was just an extra, a good positive extra on it. It might just be too early to say though for the mid-gen refreshes.
Yeah, if it's going to happen, I could maybe see announcements this year. Releases.
Yeah. At most. They need more games to make it worth it.
yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, to get things off on a lighter note, our roundtable this week is going to be lighter and more to get to know you a bit. What was your first game that you played or you remember playing? Because
Luke, why don't you go first?
Sure. Well, I'm older. I'll be 42 in September, and so for me, my first game memory was actually at my pastor's house. He had an old Atari 3200, and just playing the original Pitfall. What was a lot of Pitfall and Cubert and Pac Man,
gosh,
all those old games. So that's my first memory of gaming. And then I recall when my dad brought home a Nintendo NES, and so he had the light gun with Duck Hunt, and then Super Mario Brothers. So that's where I started gaming, was back in the old days.
at the start,
Yeah.
start of modern stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky,
Um.
you might be a little younger than Luke.
Yeah, I'm 33. I'll be 34 at the very end of this month. Um. Yeah, like I said in the uh the previous episode, what got me into gaming, which was Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one, and on the Sega Genesis with my brother. Um, I first remember that, but mostly Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the best Sonic game. Um, that's what I really first remember playing. I also remember several years later, my my dad got us playing a marathon developed by Bungie.
Okay.
So I'm a true Bungie fan. Been playing their game since the 90s. But Marathon and Duke Nukem 3D. Not when I was 3, but Duke Nukem at least when I was 8. I don't know. But yeah, and those were on PC. So those were what I remember playing the most.
Cool.
Sonic.
There is a picture of me as like a 2 or 3-year-old sitting in my diaper playing with an Atari controller not plugged in, probably Pac-Man. My brother was playing it. I was not. I kind of remember seeing like Pac-Man in my brain, but the first ones were our Super Nintendo with Mario World and Zelda: A Link to the Past. Those were what really got me going. And then couple years later, we got our Game Boys, which were basically our Pokemon game. I had blue, my brother had red. And we just played them for hours on end, car rides. We went through so many AA batteries. We would bring them into slow food restaurants and just sit there playing while we waited for our food. That was actually back in the day when Perkins, if your parent gave over their driver's license to just go into the console, you could either get a Game Boy or a Sega. So that was the only way I ever actually played Segas, because like, oh, we have Game Boys at home, we have these games. I want to play something that's different.
That's interesting. I never heard of that.
It was around for a few years. But it definitely died out because each establishment, each restaurant having like 10 of each system, that would get extremely expensive. Plus all the games and the batteries.
Dude, I remember McDonald's having N64s.
N64s, GameCubes.
And even having like in their Happy Meals, having the little like little game things. Like my brother still has this, of course, Sonic the Hedgehog one that they had.
Yeah.
And now that their Happy Meal toys today are terrible by comparison. So
I miss sitting in the stores with my neck all the way up playing the demos.
yeah.
It's funny.
GameStop
It's funny you say that. When I was in college, the Walmart store I worked at had Guitar Hero 2 on display.
Oh.
And so during lunches and breaks, I'd be back in electronics playing Guitar Hero on my lunch break. So no, that's not too far removed. 2005, 2004.
20 years.
Yeah.
Huh.
I guess it is a long time. Never mind.
I was in high school. Just starting high school, 2005.
Oh gosh. And then, what are your favorite games? Like, up to 3. I see some of you cheated by doing series, not games.
What? Man, I think I printed mine out. My out, so that must be a new edition.
No, that was in there from the.
Oh, what are your favorite games?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm just blind.
I just see your edition for that. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Favorite games.
Luke said it was, since Ricky's a little off or didn't catch this one. Actually, no, I'll go first.
Sure.
I'll go first.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't go first often. We'll go with this. Zelda as a series is definitely one of my favorite, but probably my favorite in that is Ocarina of Time. I'm a I'm part of the problem. So playing randomizers has really upped my liking of A Link to the Past because it just it adds a challenge to it. It makes you think about it. Actually, it's not just going through it um, willy nilly. Well, I do like Pokemon. I don't think it's in my favorite game slots. It's up there, but it's not quite like a favorite. Um, Halo. I'm gonna probably say Halo 3 is my. I just have a lot of good memories with playing it in the dorms. We had a LAN party with 4 different systems attached, connected together. A little tournament type thing. And I know that I got um royally shafted in that because I did really, really well in the qualifying round, and I got paired with one of the worst possible people who couldn't get a kill. So I had to pull the weight of 2 people in the next round. It didn't work. Um, but then probably like my third, um, Final Fantasy 7. Uh, just I really RPGs are my bread and butter for games, and 7 was just at a right time for it was like that punk, like not edgy but like just steampunk type um graphic style when I was that came out in 97, I think. So I was 8. So it hit the right thing though. There I could keep naming off RPGs if I kept going. So that's where I'm at. Luke.
Sure. Well, I'm the cheater. I did all the series. Um, so for me, my favorite games are definitely the action adventure type games. So I love Uncharted. Just the set pieces. I remember seeing that set piece on Uncharted 2 when you're in that train and it becomes unrailed and you're hanging off the side of a mountain. So having to climb up inside the train while stuff is falling down on top of you, and then escaping the train while it falls off the edge of the mountain. Just those awesome set pieces like that. And then Bioshock. I love Bioshock, man. Ken Levine is an awesome developer, awesome visionary type guy. And something neat about Bioshock is the fact it's based off the book Atlas Shrugged. So it has
Hmm.
a kind of interesting philosophy of Anne Ryan. So just some really neat things that in that regard. And then The Last of Us. Now, The Last of Us is not a fun game. It's not fun at all, but it is an experience. Um, it's
I
depressing. It's
don't like
sad,
playing it, but it's good.
I want to
and
see that like
not
as a
fun.
quote on like when they put quotes up on when they're like putting the trailers up for the games or whatever.
This is not a
Not a
fun
fun
game.
game, but it is an experience. It's probably the most accurate
Yeah,
description of
So,
that game.
those are my favorite games:
I think
Uncharted,
that
Last of Us,
works.
and Bioshock. And for good measure, I'll throw in Mass Effect,
Oh
specifically Mass Effect 2.
yeah.
There has not been a game like the Mass Effect series since then because they killed themselves to make it because of
Mm,
all of the different choices that you made that would affect through 3 different games.
yeah. Amazing.
Baldur's Gate 3, I think, attempts to do it.
Oh yeah.
It's probably the closest they've gotten to a Mass Effect game. Sorry to steal your thunder there.
Oh no, those were my picks. So
Cool. All right, Ricky, you're being given enough time.
Yeah. So for me, top three, and I did my best not to cheat.
Okay.
Um, by doing series. Destiny 2 definitely at the top, seeing as I've logged in total 5.5 months playtime. Um, Compared to most people, a lot of the players probably not as much because people log in a lot of PvP hours into that game, and I hate PvP. But probably Destiny 2, I had a hard time thinking about which Halo game because like I like Halo 5 a lot because it's more like modern gameplay. Like you can actually run and stuff. But
Who needs
I
to
were
run?
to um if I were to pick a Halo game, it had to be Combat Evolved, the first one.
First one.
Because that just that changed but if it weren't for Halo Combat Evolved, there wouldn't be Call of Duty. Right. In my opinion. Um
I mean, I kind of agree.
it
I
just
much prefer Halo to Call of Duty, but
yeah. It just set the bar and Halo, before Halo, so Halo was 2001. Before Halo, I did video games. Um Not nearly as much as I do now.
hmm.
Like I play like before Halo, I played Star Online a lot, GameCube version, and Pokemon, of course. The 64 games, but 2001 Halo was when game like really got me into gaming.
Sure.
So and that's there's not a whole lot of like old games that I can go back and just play again and have a lot of fun. Halo Combat Evolved is one of those games. Um, so that's number two. Number three, I'm having a hard time deciding between Pokemon Heart Silver, or not Heart. Wait,
Soul Silver.
Soul Silver. Um, because I really so the original Gold Silver, and then I when Crystal came out, I played that. But those, well, maybe it might be Pokemon Crystal. But what I really liked about Soul Silver and Heart Gold was that you can actually have like the first Pokemon in your party follow you around,
Oh yeah,
and they haven't done that since then, which really ticks me off.
they kind of did it
So
with Let's Go.
yeah, but that was kind of like a filler game.
Yeah.
Um, but so maybe it's between Pokemon Crystal and Borderlands 2. I can't decide between those two games. Because both those games I put a lot of hours into them. Crystal, I mean, yeah. My brother gets me into a lot of games, but he got
It
me into
sounds like it.
Borderlands 2 when he got me into that. Well, first we did the first Borderlands, of course, but Borderlands 2 is just so freaking funny. It's so much fun. It lots of replayability, especially with all the different characters. Um, and I think mostly um, the time and place of my life at that time. I was still in the army, and um, like that was like I mean, gaming was like the only time that I was able to like spend time with any family. So my brother and I started gaming a lot more when I was in the army. It was a lot harder to do when I was in Korea for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think like Borderlands, especially Borderlands 2, was when we really started um, gaming a lot more together. So yeah, that one or Pokemon Crystal. I'm not sure.
Cool.
Probably Borderlands 2. Yeah.
You made me think when you were saying that you had 5 months on Destiny 2. I had to go look at my main character on WoW.
Uh-oh.
It's a measly number. It's a measly number.
WoW's been around for a lot longer, so
It's true. I only started at the end of, or really started playing at the end of Kata. My main character, I only have 175 days, 6.5 hours.
that's maybe 6 months.
Yes, it's a measly. What I said. It's
okay.
It's a piddlance. I'm not actually being sarcastic.
Oh, you're saying mine was measly compared to yours?
No, I'm saying for a WoW game.
Ah,
It's a piddlance.
yeah, yeah. Seems like it.
I should ask my brother what his time in game is. The only game he plays.
Oh.
All right, Ricky, you had a roundtable question. Do we prefer linear or open world games? Is that the question?
More like a conversation topic.
Okay.
'Cause-
Can we save that one for next week?
yeah, we can say that for next week.
Okay. Because we are past 2.5 hours.
We've gone. Yeah, it's been long.
Oh,
you made it through the whole thing, then congratulations.
Thank you. We
You,
appreciate you immensely.
yes, you have commitment, which is a great trait to have for marriage.
For all of
If you
our
ma- so that's to say,
ramblings.
if you made through it, if you've made it through this, you are marriage material.
Amen.
You got commitment, and you are a good listener.
Or you just put us on in the background. You know, if you could do that too, we would greatly appreciate it for the hours watched.
It's like an audiobook, which people do put on background.
Absolutely.
I do that with podcasts all the time. I'm doing something else, and I put it on a podcast.
Yeah.
I do pay attention. It works, so please do it.
Someday I'd hope to actually get this into an audio format on more things, but easier said than done. Well, I can do it. I just don't have the. It costs money.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Once I get a job again, we'll be upgrading stuff.
Yeah.
That's it for our show this week. Thank you guys so much for sticking out through it, and thank you for sticking around for 2.5 hours. That being said, Gaming Public Radio is made possible currently due to our love of gaming and the desire to do more for this community. If you'd like to support us, please hit the subscribe button to see everything new when it comes out. We're going to be having more than podcasts coming out soon. Hopefully starting tomorrow. See how life goes. You can find Luke at Good Fight Games podcast, Good Fight Games on both the podcast and for Twitter with an underscore after that. You can find Ricky at Righteous Lutheran on Twitter, or Righteous Lutheran on Instagram, and you can find myself at Hallowed Foxmoon on pretty much any platform.
Righteous with a W.
Righteous with a W. That's right. It will be on the
WRITE.
It will be under your name, your picture, your video in the thing, so they'll be able to read it. I got that on the last one, so I kind of know what I'm doing with videoing. I will be hopefully doing a little bit more Twitch streaming again. I just got to be focused. That's a hard thing at times. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you. Thank you for the sign off. You can find more content for excellence in gaming right here on Gaming Public Radio. Thanks again. Bye-bye.